Hello, and thank you all so much for coming on our program today for the All League. It is an incredible opportunity that we are all here today to talk with Sophia Stavron and Patricia Reszetylo, two amazing women that have really seen so much in terms of what they do in business, so much in terms of the ideas that they have, so much in terms of the opportunities and the wealth of knowledge that they want to share with us today. And I just want to quickly tell you a little bit about our guest today, Patricia first. So Patricia Reszetylo was learning business even before she was born. No joke. Even before Patricia was born, and grew up watching and helping her father run his greenhouse, which was right in their front yard. Think about that. She grew up helping in the greenhouse, assisting customers, and learning about the economics of business. She helps other businesses now keep more of what they make with sound, time-tested strategies that have been used since the 1600s. That's right, since the 1600s, 400 years. Your hard work, you work hard for your money, sorry. You should keep more of it. Awfully tongue-tied today, what can I say? It's the end of the week. And as far as Sophia is concerned, Sophia is another amazing woman. Sophia Stavron is an intuitive coach and an advisor, international speaker, #1 best-selling author, an executive producer on multiple Emmy and Telly award-winning films, and a music producer too. And one day she's going to have her Grammy. She's an authority on the ancient Greek filotimo lifestyle, and is a funding manager of the nonprofit Hope Seed Foundation. She has been seen on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and WFAA Dallas, Texas. And it is a major honor and pleasure to have you both on the program today. And let me ask you both, obviously, I just read your bio, and your bio in 5 lines, give or take, really doesn't sum up a huge amount of your experience, though. Sophia, do you want to give us just a 90-second, if you will, idea of a little more who you are and what that filotimo lifestyle is? Because I'm sure that 99.9% of us on the program today have absolutely no idea what filotimo is.
I love it. Well, yes, I'm honored and grateful that I'm here with you both. So thank you. So filotimo, yes. It's an ancient Greek, 3,500 some years old. So us Greeks, we know about it, but really it's this magnificent concept and it's untranslatable in any language. And what I've done is bring it to the modern day world in an easy form to understand, where it is philo is love or friend, and then honor, timi, means, timi in Greek means honor in English. So filotimo is the love of honor in a grander scale, because there's really no translation to it. And as Greeks, we don't, ask, 10 Greeks, they're all going to give you the opposite, like whatever they feel. But really, it's, to sum it up in modern day, is really teaching people that when you are in your light, when you are here living your gift, and when you say in English, like authentic self, and the connectedness, it's that next level from mindfulness. It's the filotimo, is that connectedness, that you are focused on serving the benefit of others. That's living filotimo. And there's all sorts of, it's a highest virtue, but there's all these principles that I teach with it. And so when you were saying, what do I do? And, how does this work in the world? Really, I came in conscious. So when I was a little girl, I came in so conscious and highly intuitive. So I can hear thoughts, read the energy of everyone. And this is, like I said, as far back as two years old are all my first memories of this. But using, thankfully, not shutting down that gift, but using and teaching others on, their emotions, intuitive, how to heighten it. And then, carried on to adult life now, it's, I'm helping all these business owners, executives, anywhere from mothers, students, you name it. It's just helping people, show people what they have inside, what is their like inner genius, and how are you able to pull that out and live, more of your potential? Because as humans, we're not even tapping into what our potential is. So, what my passion project since I was, again, a little girl, is all about teaching unconditional love. It's about teaching filotimo. It's about showing people what their human potential is and the how-to. So I'm very known for a how-to, the steps, not just here's some steps. I'm the how-to and really bring it into fruition. So that's another sum up of what I do.
That's great. And for those of you that are joining us today, it really was an incredible opportunity. The first time I met Sophia was actually at a mastermind group that both of us are in. And Sophia immediately glommed onto my energy and my my LinkedIn knowledge. I'm just going to give a little plug on that.
Oh, yeah.
How to actually get your LinkedIn profile to be how it's supposed to be. And we're still going to have to work on that, Sophia.
This week.
Yes. But in terms, though, of everything, it's amazing because all of us were absolutely enthralled with that filotimo lifestyle and what Sophia was talking about. And Patricia, let me ask you, there's so much, we work extremely hard for our money, right? And it's all about how much can we keep. And it's amazing when you ask a business owner or anyone what their single biggest expense is, almost everyone is going to say it's my mortgage, it's payroll, it's something, but it's never the most expensive piece in terms of their expense. And people are like, what do you mean my mortgage, my payroll is not my most expensive expense? Can you tell us what that biggest expense is?
Oh, and especially when you get it wrong, when you get it messed up, when you get it paid late, oh my gosh, then it really goes up. It's taxes, especially as a business owner. I mean, you're paying taxes on your profits. You're paying taxes, you're paying payroll. I mean, there's got to be some taxes that come out of that, right? Right. And there's taxes for being in various jurisdictions. There's taxes for owning vehicles if you've got vehicles. There's taxes on the property that you own. And when you add those all up, oh my God, that's a huge number. And if you, mess up a payment, then not only do you still have to pay it, but there's fines and there's fees and there's, oh my God, it spirals out of control. So anything that we can do to minimize our tax burden, right, is going to help your business be more profitable. I mean, that's the whole point of, not that it's the whole point of being in business. We have lots of reasons for being in business, but we're not in business unless we're making a profit.
So let me ask you, going back, because you were doing business before you were even born. I mean, you were knowing it in utero. And I know that, between the greenhouse that you worked with your father and the horses that you raised, which we didn't talk about when I read your little bio, tell us more about that experience and how it shaped you into being such a resource for the community to know how they can know what to do, because there's a lot of ways they can do things and a lot of ways that not the right way to do things. Like you mentioned, if you miss a payment, the IRS is the world's biggest collection agency, and boy, do they collect. They never lose a dime in terms of their collection. So tell us more in terms of your experience. You were learning business really since you were born, and the horses. Tell us more about that.
Well, one really vivid memory that I have would be my dad sitting at the kitchen table every evening. And this would be you know, during winter leading up to tax time, every evening doing his books, because of course he hadn't done them most of the rest of the year. And he had to get everything, you know, written in there, total tallied, so that he could take it off to his accountant so that, you know, they could do their taxes. His business was never amazingly profitable, which my mother really resented. My mother was a diehard employee. She was an RN and she worked at the same hospital for 45 years. And she resented the business. She never, I don't believe she articulated it, but people don't have to say things in order for you to know what they're thinking. Right. You know, that's a big memory of mine. And just knowing that his business didn't really make money until he simplified it, until he niched down, which of course was after I left home. Went off to school. I did lots of fun stuff after I left, but no, it just, that's the big one. And
you're a big horse person. Let's tell us about your horses.
Yeah.
I know you still have a couple. Tell us about them.
I still, oh my gosh, I went to summer camp the year I was 9, and I took horseback riding as one of the things to do. And I came home from camp after a week and I said, Mom, I have to have a horse. And she's, yeah. Because I had a couple other sisters ahead of me who had this infection, you know. And I said, no, Mom, you don't understand. I have to have a horse. So 3 years later, we got our first horse. So moms and dads out there, if your kid says, we don't have to buy it, we can just go look at them. They're softening you up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was saying, kid, I want that pony, you know, but my parents never seemed to get it for me. And I want that horse. You know, it's still one of these days I will get that horse, and I'm putting it out there to the universe that I will have that horse. So anyway, let's kind of jump in. You know, one of the things that a lot of people in this group are dealing with is they are either starting out in business or they're, you know, looking to start a business. Some are a little more established, but a lot of people are looking at really getting into business. And there's a lot of things that are really important for us to be paying attention to. And Sophia, let me ask you, if there's a common obstacle that an entrepreneur needs to be aware of, what is that obstacle that you think we all are either not paying attention to or otherwise really need to be looking at?
I call it fear of the unknown. Common. Period. Point blank. I hear it all the time. Because think of it. How many people do you know actually started a business and knew everything about that business before they started it? Anybody? Yeah, no.
But if they've been in the business before.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like you've never ever started a business. Even if it's your 10th, your 11th, your 12th, it doesn't matter. The common denominator to an obstacle for an entrepreneur is fear of the unknown. Period. So that's where I help, you know, serve the entrepreneurs in catching it before it already happens, and also giving you the skills on how to deal, because most people actually don't know how to deal with the fear of the unknown, which is anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, I mean, to simply put it, that's exactly what happens. And that's one of also the big causes of why businesses fail, because you're focused on the fear of the unknown. And that can cause, you know, your business to go downhill quickly.
Right. And one thing for those of you that are listening, one major point that you really want to be paying attention to is fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. There's so much that is out there with the unknown. And, I think it was President Kennedy, if I remember correctly, nothing to fear but fear itself. Or was it Roosevelt? No, I'm blanking. One of our great presidents said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And it really is important because, that unknown is definitely something that we don't know. And there's a reason that you work with experts that are in your area that are able to show you what a lot of those, I don't want to say shortcuts are because they're really not shortcuts, but it's a way of avoiding that trial and error experience as you're trying to figure out what to do in your business, so that when you're working with a business coach, as an example, you have that business coach sitting there and knows, all right, if you're going to go down this way, we're going to have this issue. If you go down that way, there may be that issue, but at least we know how to handle the issue because we've seen it. We know what we're expecting. We know what we're dealing with. We know where we're going in that regard. And so that false evidence appearing real of the unknown is something that a good business coach is going to be in a position to help you out in terms of the process as we're moving forward. And Patricia, let me ask you, as people are starting out, right, is really important for them to have the right organizational structure in terms of their business, because the wrong way can have detrimental effects. Can you tell us more what that really would look like and why it's so important? Obviously, the unknown of the IRS and our state's tax bureaus, we never know what's going to happen down the line. Can you give me an idea, though, why it's so important to look at the way that we're organized?
Well, beyond certain structures have different tax benefits, for one thing. And we can look at them as, individual structures have different types of tax benefits, or we can look at it as a complex structure that has a much different kind of benefit. I think the big overriding issue that I want to help my clients deal with is what happens in the event that you get sued, because everybody's so lawsuit happy these days. You spill a cup of coffee on your own lap as you're driving through McDonald's, and then you sue McDonald's. I mean, come on, you were the one that had it. It's hot, it's coffee, right?
Really?
Go figure. What a concept. So there's that aspect of it. And the other aspect is, what would happen if, perish the thought, something happened to you. You were completely incapacitated, or, something happened, you were in a car wreck, and, maybe you didn't make it.
It's
because
possible.
this kind of thing does happen.
Yes.
We're not immortal as we feel we are when we're in our teens and 20s. Most of us feel we're kind of immortal because we haven't had that many friends or family who have passed on. And just the whole life is fragile thing is what makes living valuable.
So let me ask you, if you were to, like you said, perish the thought, die in that car accident, what would happen to your business if you did, die in that car accident? You got hit by a bus, you got sick, whatever it is.
Right.
What would happen?
Right. Well, assuming that you have a business that can run without you anyway. Okay,
Right.
That's a big assumption. Most people don't have a business that can run without them. But we're going to assume that you have a business that's got, maybe it's got some employees, it's got staff, you've got marketing out there, you've got clients or customers, you're doing business. What happens when a person dies, especially if they have some kinds of asset, is that asset goes into probate.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a simple kind of probate, like I was able to observe when my mother passed in 2019. She had a house, she had some real estate, she had a small bank account, you know, personal stuff. That thing took a year. It took over a year to get through probate.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, if you have the wrong business structure, your business goes through probate, which means it gets shut down for the duration. How many businesses? Well, first off, the first question is, how long is that probate going to take? It could be a year, if you're lucky, 5 years maybe. Would your business still be here in 5 years if you couldn't do any business at all? Probably not. I don't care who you are. Even McDonald's would be gone if they couldn't do any business for 5 years. So what we do is we use the right corporate structure, and it has no probate at all. Yes, your staff is going to grieve. Your customers are going to be sad that you're gone. If they even know who you are, depending, of course, on the size of your business.
I did not know. Yeah, I did not know that there was a certain structure that was better.
Yeah, it's. I am just learning some of this stuff. It's a more complex structure. It's not just, you know, a C corp or an S corp or an LLC.
Okay.
It's a complex structure. So you have to
Oh.
have all the pieces, and you have to put it together, and you have to work with somebody who knows what they're doing.
So this sounds like it's awfully expensive in terms of getting the process set up, though, because it's involving multiple state recognized entities that you need, like you said, the S corp, the C corp, the LLC, the whatever it is. Sounds really awfully expensive just to get set up. And obviously, as a layperson, we may know how to flip those burgers, to use the McDonald's example, or run the franchise, but we don't know how to deal with the state. So obviously we need to use those professionals out there. Can you give us an idea in terms of what really it is that, you know, we should expect? Because it sounds awfully expensive.
Well, there again, it kind of depends on who you go to. If you go to your attorney, he's going to have to bring in an accountant. They're going to have to do a lot of consulting back and forth. It could run you 10 grand. It could run you 20 grand if you do it that way.
And that's plus the state filing fees.
Yeah. And mostly that goes to the accountants. It goes to the attorneys, because they're notoriously bad marketers. This is a general statement. If there's some attorney or some accountant who is listening to this and you're a fabulous marketer, it does not include you.
If you need
But
help
in general,
we're happy to have that conversation too.
right. In general, these are professionals who know how to do their little thing and typically should not be giving business advice. I hate to say it. You know, an attorney can advise you on the legality of this or that. Your accountant hopefully can tell you the state of your books, you know, and, oh, you can't be doing that. That's not legal. These sorts of things, they do have their place.
By the way, just one thing about the books, make sure that you're not keeping 2 sets of books in your business. And this is something, it's not just, you know, you're cheating the tax authorities wherever you're located. But it really, you know, if you look at what recently happened here in the United States with the PPP, And before the PPP, everyone was always, well, I never have to worry because even if I sell my business, it's not going to be for 10, 20 years down the road. And I'm not looking for a loan, so I don't have to worry about showing the exact revenues that I'm really getting. And then all of a sudden, COVID came, wiped out so much. And when we applied for the Payroll Protection Program loans, the government made us show what we reported in terms of our revenues to base that loan on. And so if you're not reporting everything, if you're a cash business and you're purposely trying to do things that is not reporting everything to lower your tax liability in that perspective, and again, Patricia knows how to help you minimize your tax liability. Like we said, it's your biggest expense overall. But if you're looking, though, at the situation where you're dealing with having to show less funds, it's going to result in less coming from the government in the event you need more PPP dollars. And unfortunately, the COVID pandemic is not ending anytime soon. And everything is being based on what we did during specific times. So you have to show everything that you really did, which is really important. And just one thing going back onto taxes, and Patricia, I'm going to steal this from you in a second. But if you look at Amazon, right? We all know Amazon. No matter where in the world you happen to be located, you probably know of Amazon. And so many people, I guarantee you, are going to be shocked to learn Amazon paid no tax last year. What do you mean they paid no tax? They had billions and billions of dollars in revenue. But here's the thing. When you know how to properly set up a feedback loop, something that automatically goes back into the business, revenue that's being put into marketing campaigns, revenue that's being put into research and development, revenue being put into new plants and a physical layout. These are all things that Amazon is doing that is lessening their overall tax liability. And when you work with the right people like Patricia and her team, they can give you more guidance in terms of what do I need to know in terms of, well, how can I be just like Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos didn't become the world's richest person being dumb, right? None of us are dumb, right? But we may not have known that this is even possible because we're always hearing, wait a second, there's all this loophole and that loophole, and we're going to close these loopholes, or we're going to find other ways that we're going to do whatever it is we're going to do so that everybody pays their fair share in taxes. Now, don't get me wrong, Amazon is putting thousands and thousands of people to work in greatly increasing our overall tax base, greatly increasing our overall economy. And I don't know if any of us during the pandemic would have been able to get by if it were not for Amazon. I don't know about you all, but I got a ton of deliveries from Amazon during this pandemic because where else are you going to get some stuff, right? And Patricia, just yesterday, Daniel and I were on a call together and we were saying, look at Amazon for something so that he can get it in his business for a program he's doing over the weekend. So it all comes down to, knowing what it is that you're doing, knowing how to properly set up your business, which, Patricia, I know that is definitely important. So let me ask you though, Sophia, when it comes back to anxiety, right? Anxiety about the unknown, anxiety about taxes, anxiety about getting everything set up. How does anxiety slow your progress of success in terms of moving forward as we're looking at getting this straightened out so that we really don't have these kinds of worries?
So first of all, it's one of my filotimo teachings is honor the solution that you may not see at the moment. So when you say that out loud, honor the solution that I may not see at the moment, what's happening is you're creating a different energy and you're allowing your brain to open up to see possibilities. And what most people don't realize is the opposite of honor is shame. So what do people gravitate to? I don't know something, so that means I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's how people think. I don't know something, so there's something wrong with me. That's the other part. Oh, there must be something wrong with me because I don't know this information. So I always say, start with the statement, honor the solution that you may not see at the moment. And when you keep repeating that, that opens you up. And that also, it brings the answer to you. And now you start realizing something like, oh, I need to find a Patricia. You know, I don't know. I mean, and honestly, what people don't really get is you can read all you want online and Google yourself out like for a whole night. But at the end of the day, when it comes to starting a business or doing something different with your business, to really understand those formations and how you structure a business, that's something that you really, don't pick up a book and just think like, now I know. The fast track, when you were saying, you know, the shortcut, I call it the fast track. I call it when you want to work with me, I'm fast tracking you to your transformation. I'm fast tracking you to find money in your business. You know, so when people say, oh, I don't know how to do something, I'm like, okay, I do. What is it? You know, and it's the fast track. It's showing you like, oh, from A to B, here's what you do. And so that's the thing with, and that's what people don't realize with taxes and how you structure a business. You know, going to Patricia and asking a simple question as to, this is what my vision is for my business. Now, what do you say? Now it's like you release that, the fear of the unknown, the anxiety, and you go into, I'm in the process of finding the answer because I honor the solution that I may not see at the moment. And again, when you say that, is just a natural calm to the body. You know, so all of that other junk that comes in, that's all from your past, by the way. It's all past stuff that just kind of, whoo, like, oh, I've never done this, I've never done this. And when I didn't know how to do this, and this happened, and this is where I failed, and all this like chatter, chat comes out. It's like, I honor the solution that I may not see the and then filotimo teaching would be something like seeing the vision of the pleasure of starting the business. You know, I honor this progress, this journey. I honor the vision that I have that will help serve others. When you start getting into that mindset, the anxiety, again, you're diminishing it because you're going into who you are, what you're bringing out to the world. And so that's the point of when I say, you know, live your light. Well, there's a reason why you're starting the business. And so the more you focus on that, the more you can start seeing things as, oh, okay, this is fun. Because if you're not going into business to have fun, then my opinion is just do something different. Because it's a lot of work, you know, and it's a different mindset to be an entrepreneur. And so I always say, you know, fun is like one of those ingredients that needs to be infused. Because if it's not fun, I mean, I don't know, I wouldn't work for anybody who doesn't have a fun business. So just saying out loud, everyone, hey, take a look at what you're doing. But it's to help people realize that when you're stuck in that anxiety of the not knowing and that fear of the unknown, and you're not willing, and you have this unwillingness to go seek help from someone else, that is where you're creating a habit that anything in the business or anything that you want to do, that you're not willing to seek help and get help, which again, that creates high levels of anxiety. So that's what I mean by once you don't nip it in the butt, you know, it's so to speak, it's like you're just creating a monster inside you that's only going to get louder because you're not seeing it as it's an honoring of what you may not know, and you're honoring the light in someone else. So like with Patricia, I'm not interested in being her type of, you know, expert. I have like zero interest in being that expert because that's not my light. That's not my authentic gift. Like I don't have that in me. She has that in her. So when I want something, then I go to her because that's her expertise. That's where she shines. Like she enjoys that. And so think of it like that. The anxiety gets eliminated when you're in that space. The anxiety is naturally eliminated when you're coming from a place of, this is my joy spot. This is what I know. of what to do. And so in a business, there's something in there that you might not know all the components, but there's certain things that you will know. And I say stick with that, which might be the vision of why. Why are you starting this? And you stay with that. That will eliminate all the anxiety, literally eliminate your anxiety. And that will create this urgency of, I need that answer. I need to know, what's going to serve me well. What corporation, what LLC, where do I label myself, And so it's like that urgency is going to be that why that launches you into finding the people that okay, here are the people that I am willing to work with, and they want to support your business because that's what they love to do.
And that is, brings up a great point, sorry.
I was going to say, eliminate anxiety. See?
Eliminate anxiety, absolutely. And as I was saying, yeah, it brings up a great point. Simon Sinek is well known for delivering the know your why. What is it that I am doing this for? Why am I doing it? Why am I starting a business? Why am I looking at doing the things that I am doing? Because if you don't, what makes you get out of bed in the morning? What makes you want to do things in terms of your business? And, we all get into business for a reason, right? There's a very specific reason that we chose to be getting into business. Let me ask you, Patricia, why did you want to get into business? Obviously, you knew this from when you were already in utero, but why do you want to get into business for yourself?
That's a good question.
Wonder the answer.
I mean, it's easy to say, oh, because I can make more than I could, doing whatever it was I was doing before, working at Walmart, driving a taxi, whatever, right? Beyond that, I see such a need for things that I can fill. And at the same time, things that I want to learn more about. And one of the best ways to learn something is to go do it. I've got family reasons.
Right.
I've got things I want to get reasons. And as I find the things I want to get that are more right, I don't know. When it's more right, then I can do my business better. I'm more energized. I'm not working towards, for example, a house that won't work. No matter how cute it is, if it's not big enough, it's just not going to work.
Right. We all have our gifts. Sophia, let me ask you, why do you get into your business?
Oh,
Got that life and, that light and everything
yes.
that you said since you were, 2, that you knew what other people were dealing with. But what drew you? What's your why?
Knew it. Why is, I am not one to be put in a label or a box. It's just something that's wired inside me. And part of it is, again, because think of it, I came in conscious. So I have all this knowing, and I'm a little girl who hasn't been to Harvard or any of the top, schools and read books, so I'm sitting here being a medical intuitive and knowing things and hearing things and all that good stuff of understanding what's the process of what you need to do and how to get there. So as a child, what's that? That's like not conventional. That's something that's totally off the books. Like it's what people call weird, crazy, misfit, you name it, whatever word you want to label it. Yeah. Okay. So, at the end of the day, living your light means I'm embracing that I just do not see life like everybody else. I just do not. I'm unconventional. I don't believe that A, B, and C get you where you want to go. Sometimes I can see, like Patricia was saying, I can see different paths. It's the A, D, Z that's a great path that no one's been on. So I'm just natural innovator. I'm a natural, inventor. I was inventing instruments at age 2 to play at age 2. Why? Because I wanted to play an instrument and I don't have one. So now I've got to invent one. So it's like, okay. So it's unconventional. I just see things, and if I want something, I'm going to go after and get it. And I'm going to use resources. So it was something just so natural. And so to translate it to help others is understanding your body, understanding the intelligence, understanding your mind, your emotions, your spirit. When you understand the wholeness of who you really are, your human potential, by teaching that launches people into actually living their life. That launches people into being able to start using their own unique talents, skills, gifts that they were blueprinted with. We all came in blueprinted a certain way. And so that it's like taking that part of me, the unconventional, and now it's like, this is what I do. And you know what? When it was time for college, they didn't have, in the course book, I didn't see human potential. I didn't see, how to be a professor in teaching intuition. I didn't see like how a filotimo lifestyle is going to help your business greatly. Back in the day, it didn't say in those books, and it didn't say in the MBA programs, for business. I've never seen the course that says when you serve your customer, that's when you get more money. I don't know. I didn't see that in any book. But apparently what I've heard on the street is Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that seems to be a bestseller, So I'm just saying, there's certain things that they work. And this is where I shine, because I can see things that work so easily for entrepreneurs, executives. And so that's why I went into business, because unfortunately it was this way, but then fortunately with COVID, it is changing. So unfortunately, back in the day, that's what life was like. Fortunately, with COVID, it has opened up now this whole new way of seeing, how do you run your business? Do you, this is filotimo, lifestyle on steroids. It's corporations saying, I'm falling in love with my customer, because they're realizing that if you want to fall in love with your profit margin, you will sadly be mistaken as to how much profits you're really going to acquire now, because the clients and the customers are getting smarter. They're starting to wake up now with this COVID and realize my money can go anywhere. Literally, my money can go anywhere, wherever I choose it. And so now corporations are starting to change their culture and realize you've got to serve the client. You've got to fall in love with them. You've got to expand. And, if you don't, which some corporations, they're starting to see, the effect of it. So this was my long answer as to why I went into business.
It's definitely a good one. I mean, for me, my why has always been to help people. And that's what all of us have been saying here. It's about finding what it is that help looks like in terms of what that means to all of us. For me, it's seeing how my clients grow, tend to hire more people because they get a lot more work coming in. So they need to hire people because they have too many customers, too many jobs, whatever it is. They then tend to give more to the community, not only by hiring people, but by also donating time, donating products, services, donating money to various local organizations. And as our communities get stronger, our nations get stronger. And it's funny because I've always been accused of being utopian. And you know what? People that said that to me were telling that to me in a way that's like, we don't mean it as a compliment, but I will gladly wear that crown of utopia, or that badge of utopia, because what is wrong with having a more perfect world. You know, President Lincoln said to have a more perfect nation, right? In the Gettysburg Address, it is something that we have been searching for, you know, forever. And to have a more perfect world. Now, is everything going to be perfect? Probably not, right? But what is it that we can do with our own abilities to allow more people to get that kind of help, to get that kind of benefit of a more perfect something? And that's my why.
That right there is living your light. So the way you express yourself is, because everybody says, I want to help more people. Usually if you're an entrepreneur, you're usually saying, I want to help people. But the live your light is, that's you. That's how you love to express yourself. And so that's why if I need help in a certain department, you're my to go to, because that's where you light up. That's where your authentic self is. That's like your gift. That's why I was saying with Patricia, it's like she has certain gifts. I mean, no offense, Patricia, but if I'm going to go for, you know, a fashion gig somewhere or photography, I might not pick you, you know, I'll go to somebody else. I don't think you're good, right? I don't think you vibe with it. And then but that's the key. The key is, even though others think it's utopia, to me, it's like, the more we all rise up right now and we tap into our light, who we are, like what lights us up, the more people right now that are rising up and they're embracing it and saying, yes, I'm going forward. I don't know what it looks like, but this is how I feel to express it in whatever business. That's how we become that better nation. That's why right now is the most important time for people to turn inward and see who is it that you are truly, and let's start being it. Because if you're not being it, we're all suffering. So to your point, we can have a better community, a better nation, everything right now, if everybody would start turning in and saying, what is my light? And embrace it. And how do I express it? So you become this lighthouse that we all are looking for. We all need it. And this is the time.
Absolutely. So, yes. So, Patricia, let me ask you, in terms of, you know, looking at the way that we all look at what we do, right? We all know this is our why we're in business, right? We all know that we have to be properly set up because there's too many risks that are out there if we don't have it set up the right way. There's too many issues that are just way beyond our control if we don't do it the right way. So obviously, we want to have a way that we can get more information, right? So that we know what is it that I can really do and what is it that I can do now to avoid all of these fear of the unknown issues, the risks associated. Where can we go to get more information in terms of knowing what to do from here?
Absolutely. I have an infographic set up on my website that you can just go and get. And
what is that URL?
the URL.
Oh, we're going to put it in the chat.
So awesome.
It's hard to spell. Some days I forget how to spell it. So, yeah, I've got an infographic and we'll have a link over to it.
Okay. And Sophia, there's so much about the filotimo lifestyle that is important to business, right? It's transformational in business. It's transformational not only in business, but in life, in our families, and things along those lines. Where can we go to know more about the filotimo lifestyle, about you, about what we can do? Because there's so much out there that we just really have no idea what we're doing sometimes. And that unknown is always driving us crazy. Where can we go to get more of an idea about you, about the filotimo lifestyle, and how it really can impact us?
So the website I have is sophiastavron.com. That's my, my name, which you'll have in the comments. And then if you send me an email, sophia@sophiastavron.com, and you can put in the subject, instead of filotimo, because most people are not going to remember how to spell that, just put, anxiety presentation or anxiety info. That'll be my prompt that I know that this particular group is funneling in, wanting that info, and then I'll have special info for this group. And then I have other things that will be launching very quickly, because I'm not one to really be in social media. So when you said infographic, I'm like, wow, I need to talk to you, Patricia, because you're cool. Technology. I've been so on the download and not public, because I have a global clientele. So I never found it necessary until now. So at least for this group, whoever sees this, if you're putting in anxiety or anxiety info, and that way it prompts me to know that this particular group is going to get something special. So that's what I have.
Thank you. And for me, again, my name is Jennifer Glass, and I didn't actually do my bio earlier, so I'm just going to quickly run through it. I am a business growth coach. I'm all about helping business owners grow their business. It is really my passion. It is what I do, going out there, finding people, new paths, like Sophia was mentioning, new paths to figure out, all right, I need more clients, I need more leads. So many of us are wasting money on marketing and advertising, and it just isn't paying. So many of us are wasting money on social media, and it's not paying. So many of us have followed the gurus that said, put an ad on Google, put an ad on Facebook, and you're going to get millions of dollars in sales. Guess what? It doesn't happen. So at my company, BGSI Coaching, that's what we do. We make sure that you know what to do to get those leads, to get those new customers coming in your door, and how to avoid the growing pains that often happen when people start growing. Because you know what happens? I end up starting out a $100,000 a year business or a $250,000 a year business. All of a sudden, I become a $500,000-$600,000 a year business within 6-7 months of starting, or maybe a year. And you know what quickly happens? I'm so used to running my business for the last 5 years, 10 years at $100,000. I don't know how to run a $500,000 business. So there's a lot of growing pains that come. There's a lot of headaches that come in with that. And so what I do is I look at your business in a holistic fashion, and I show you strategically, operationally, financially, from a marketing and sales perspective, of course, as well, what you can do to get there and find more clients and avoid the implosion that can inevitably happen when it's not done the right way. So if you want more information, definitely go to bgsicoaching.com. And again, a link will be in the comments so that you can get that information. Check it out. If you have any other questions, Patricia, Sophia, and I are more than happy to help you in any ways that we can. And feel free to use this as a resource. The point that we're all doing this for is to provide value, knowledge, information to you. It is to make sure, especially in the wake of the pandemic that we're in, to know what is it that you have without having to start Googling. I think Sophia is the one that mentioned you can Google overnight to your heart's content, but you're still not going to be in a position of really knowing what is it that I am going to be able to know even after doing all those Googling searches. Because I'll tell you, one site's going to say this, another site's going to say that, and you're going to be left, well, which one do I hold? Right? It's like listening to this person or that expert. Well, you know what? This doctor was saying this doctor was saying that. You got to listen to both, right? I mean, one doctor saying yes mask, another doctor saying no mask, and I'm not getting into that argument right now, but what do you do, right? There's too many sites out there and too much misinformation that has been floating around the internet for so long that there's so many questions that we have. And that's why we're doing these panels. That's why we're offering this information, because you have these experts that really are out there. And if you like what you heard and you can agree with it, that is incredible. and please reach out to us. If you don't like what you heard, please reach out to us also and tell us why you don't, right? What is it that you don't agree with? Because if you see something that we may have missed, the only way that we can grow as individuals, as business owners, is by seeing competing points of view as well. Sometimes your point of view may be exactly the thing that we need to do. And when I go to an event, and I'm sure Patricia and Sophia, you're going to agree with me, I go to an event, I'm looking for that nugget, whatever that one piece of information I can get that can catapult my business, right? If you got nothing else out of the last hour, I hope you at least got some nugget that is going to position you and your business to really take off and succeed. Because the more that we can see successful businesses, the more that we can see what it is that we are all doing collectively, we're all going to be better. It's so cliche at this point, we're all in this together, but it is never more true than at moments like this. We didn't ask you for any investment during this presentation other than your time. And what I want to continue to ask you is, if you have more questions, reach out to us. We're happy to answer them. We want you to succeed, because as you succeed, like I mentioned earlier, your community is going to succeed, our nations are going to succeed, and globally, our entire race, our species, is going to succeed. And that is exactly what we need. So I want to thank you all for your time. I want to thank Patricia and Sophia so much for coming on the program today. You guys were absolutely incredible. So much information. And I know that for a lot of you, if you need to rewatch this program, please rewatch it. If you remembered and you made a note as we were going through and you said at 22 minutes and 53 seconds, something was said absolutely incredible, that is going to be something you definitely want to go back to and reference over and over, because there's so much here. I thank you all so much. Patricia, Sophia, thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.